All right. Well, thanks for coming. You get the longest commute of the day. So, macOS 12 Monterey is the latest installment of the Mac operating system. And in fact, they just updated it yesterday to 12.5.1. So we're up to the 5th iteration of Monterey and the first minor update to that. In order to install Monterey, you have to meet certain hardware and software requirements. So on the right of this slide here is a list of all of the Macs that are currently compatible with Monterey. So that includes any MacBook from 2015 or later, any MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, or iMac from 2015 or later, any Mac Mini from 2014 or later, any iMac Pro from 2017 or later, and any Mac Pro Tower of any flavor, whether it's the black cylinder or the taller gray or silver, what people call the cheese graters, they'll all be compatible. So as long as you've got that hardware that's listed here, then on the left, we have the other requirements. So in order to directly install Monterey onto your computer, you must be running at least macOS 10.9, which is Mavericks or later. 10.9 is the earliest version of the Mac operating system that you can have, that you can directly upgrade to Monterey. If you're running something earlier than 10.9, then you need to either upgrade to 10.9 and then upgrade to Monterey, or you can perform what's called a clean installation. And that is where you back up your data, typically using Time Machine. Then you boot to the macOS recovery volume, erase your system volume, and install macOS clean from macOS recovery, which will take a little bit of time. You also need a minimum of 4 gigabytes of memory or RAM. Now, that shouldn't be a problem. Most Macs these days ship with at least 8 gigabytes of memory. That's definitely true of all of the Apple Silicon-based Macs. Their base memory is 8, and it can go up from there. And you have to have enough free space on your internal storage device to host the files and the installation file and to actually do the installation. And for that, you need a minimum of 26 gigabytes if you're installing on any Mac running macOS Sierra or later, or if you're running El Capitan, which is so macOS 12, which is Sierra, then macOS 11, which is El Capitan. So anything earlier than El Capitan, you need at least 44 gigabytes. Definitely, if you have less than this amount of space on your hard drive, you're likely having other performance problems, among other things. But definitely, most Macs should have more than that. There's an easy way to see how much RAM and how much storage you have. You simply go to the Apple menu in the menu bar, choose About This Mac, and in here, you can see the current version of your OS. You can see I'm running 12.5.1. The type of Mac that you have, and you can see this is a M1 Apple Silicon-based Mac Mini from 2020, so I'm definitely compatible. And it shows you the amount of RAM. I have 16 gigabytes of memory. And then to confirm the storage, you can click on the Storage tab. And here, I see I have a total of 500 gigabytes. And over here, it shows me that I have 385 gigs out of the total available space. So I definitely have enough storage in order to do the installation. So there's no problem here. Some of the features of the Mac operating system require an Apple ID. If you don't already have one, then you will need to get one. But most likely, if you're running any version of the Mac OS at this point, you'd likely have an Apple ID. But there are a number of features that will require it. And in fact, the first time you log into your computer after you updated to Monterey, it may ask you to re-enter your Apple ID password. And then many options and features of the operating system require internet access. In fact, in order to install Monterey, you must be connected to the internet. That way, the system, during the process of upgrading your system, it will download any available firmware updates that are necessary for your system. All right. So let's talk about some of the new features. And one of the new features that Apple released in Monterey is something called a quick note. Now, you might have some brilliant idea that you've come up with, or you're doing research online in Safari and you want to grab a piece of text and drop it into something really quick so that you can remember it. If you go down to the lower right corner of your computer, you'll see a little tab will pop up here. If I click on that, it brings up a quick note option. And so now I could type in whatever I want with regards to the note. And then I can close that or hide this. And all your quick notes are displayed here. So again, anytime, hide this, I just come down to the corner and bring that up, and I can add more text to this. So if I'm, say, surfing the internet and I'm doing research on cephalopods, let's say, and so I'll grab this information about the cephalopod because I want to include in my report. Again, I just go down to the lower right, bring that up, paste that in, and I'm good to go. And then later, when I'm in the actual Notes app, bring up Notes. Where are your notes? I can view my information in the quick note, and I can copy and paste that into any document or report or anything that I'm working on. So quick note is a great feature. It allows you to quickly gather information for later use that you want to use, and makes a lot of nice things available to you as well. Something else they've added to Notes is a way of organizing different notes that you take and being able to quickly access them. And that's through the use of tags. Now, tags are a way of adding specific types of keyword metadata to various resources in the macOS. You can add tags to files or folders and so on, but now you can actually add tags to notes, and you can do that. Let me go ahead and just create a new note real quick. And I'll just add that text, and then I'll pop this down here. And I'm going to add a hashtag, and I can add a note or a tag like webinar. So this is a webinar note. And I could even add another tag, say macOS. So I can type whatever I want, or I can use existing notes. And then over here in the sidebar of the Notes app, you have your different tags. I click on this, and this will display all of the notes that I've created in the Notes app that have that particular tag. And you can work with multiple notes, or multiple tags, I should say. And so I could say, so right now there's only one note that has all three of these tags. And so I can easily add or remove them from the list in here to see all that. So it's a way to quickly view all of the notes related to specific content that you've created. So as you go through and create notes, if you add these tags, it can make it a lot easier to sort through various notes that you've created in order to better organize your information. So lots of different options there. Another new feature in the Mac operating system is called live text. And with live text, you have the ability to actually copy and paste text in an image. So let me go to Safari, and I've got so here's a listing of different signs that you might see. And so I'll open up this image here, and I want to grab that text. And so with live text, I can just click and drag over the text and then copy that. This is an image. This is not anything I've created or doctored or anything like that. And I can go back to my Notes app, and I can now add this text to my note, just like that. And if I need to, I can edit it to make it better for what I'm doing. So, and again, this works. Let me pick something. Let's see what we can get. So here's another one. So this will work with pictures. If you've got, let's say, if you've taken pictures of people's business cards or other kinds of information, then you can simply go through and select that and then input it into any kind of a database program that you're using. So this makes it a lot easier to pull up information that you need. Let me go ahead and bring us some other images. Images of Yellowstone. There's another feature related to this called visual search. And this allows you to identify places by their images. Oops. So in theory, if I've got an image and it's recognized by the system for visual search, then there'll be an icon down below. Let me go ahead and download this. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, so I've got this image. And so here's oops. So in theory, we should be if Monterey is recognizing where this is at, you'll get an icon. It'll give you information about where that particular image is located. So it's possible to identify objects, to do a search based on images, basically. I don't know why it's not working. So that is, again, it's related to the whole live text option. Oops. Related to that. Another feature, now they've made some changes to the Maps app. And one of those is to create an interactive globe. So let me go ahead and bring up Maps. So the Maps app, they've added some additional elements. You've got like different places, guides that you've got here. So you can create your own guides. And there are a variety of guides that you have access to for popular, say, destinations around the world. And there's a limited number of guides that are pre-built, but you can create your own guides. But they've added a number of things to the Maps app. They've improved or made improvements if you have an electronic vehicle to interact with your interactive vehicles app, sign in, and then be able to identify charging stations along whatever route you're planning. They've made improvements to create bike routes. So if you are an avid cyclist, they can help you locate and get around various impediments to good cycling or an enjoyable cycling experience, like lots of stairs and things like that. But the interactive globe is another big thing. And to get to it, if your Mac is compatible now, not all of the features that I'm demonstrating are going to be available on all Macs. Like the interactive globe feature here I'm showing you, this is only available on most silicon-based Macs. It's not available on a lot of the Intel-based Macs. So here I've zoomed all the way out and I've got this globe and I can just spin around and jump to any particular location. And I can zoom in to any particular spot that I want to once I've gotten where I want to go. Oh, so here's Istanbul, let's say. So I can zoom in to that location if I want. But again, at any point I can zoom all the way out and just have a quick view of the world and zoom around, just like you'd have a globe in your office or in a classroom. So that can be very helpful. Let me show you what I'm talking about this not being available in other Macs. So I'm going to screen share. Let me load the Maps app here. I'm going to screen share to another computer. I'm running as this monitor here, so I can see exactly what you're seeing during the presentation. So let me go ahead and go to the Finder and bring up my network and my other computer here. And I want to go ahead and share the screen of that computer. So this is that computer. And I'm going to go ahead and go to the Maps app on this computer. And I can zoom in and zoom out. But if I zoom out, that's as far as it goes. I get a flat map. I do not get a globe. No matter how much I try to zoom completely out to get the globe, it just doesn't happen. And so this is a 2017 MacBook Pro. It's an Intel-based Mac. And so this feature of Monterey not supported on this Mac. So note that depending on the Mac that you have, not all of the features that Apple has indicated are a part of Monterey may be available to you. And now another feature that we have available to us from actually comes from the iOS, iPadOS side. And that's a key thing with Monterey is Apple is bringing more features over from iOS. So they will start and test a service or a feature on the mobile operating systems, and then they'll bring that over to the Mac. And it's the same thing for the Mac. There are features of the Mac that eventually come over to the mobile operating system as wherever it makes sense. Apple's not building, not working under a single operating system idea. They understand that there are different platforms, the watch, the phone, the tablet, the TV, the HomePod, and the Mac. They all have different hardware features and functions, and Apple optimizes the operating system for that hardware. It is based on the same core operating system. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 2017 MacBook Pro, no globe, because it's an Intel-based Mac, and yeah, that feature is not supported. Absolutely. So yeah, you'll run into that with a number of features. So Apple's not saying we're going to build one operating system and put it on all of our devices. They're saying we will start with a core and we will optimize the APIs specific to each different hardware platform that we have. And so Apple wants to make the use of their devices as seamless as possible across all of their devices, meaning that your ability to do things on one device should carry over to other devices. And so that's why they integrate features across their entire platform. So quick notes, not just available on Monterey, also available in iOS 15 on the phone. And the globe, same thing. That's also available on compatible hardware in fact, all my iPad Pros will give you that same function. So there's a lot of really cool features, and they exist on most of Apple's hardware platform, but they may start on one platform. And so this next feature, shortcuts, is a feature that started out on iOS. And let me bring this up. Shortcuts allows you to automate tasks on your device. So these are shortcuts that I've added. So down at the bottom, if you launch the Shortcuts app, you can do that a couple of different ways. You can go to the app, the Apple, let me go to the applications folder. So if I go to the applications folder here, then shortcuts will be listed in here. There it is. If I want, I can actually drag that down to the dock and add that as an option. So I always have it available to me in the dock like that. And I just one click to access it from there. And of course, I can access any app simply by bringing up Spotlight and then typing in the name of the app and then hitting return. Lots of different ways to access different features of the Mac operating system. So here is a list of all the shortcuts. I've got various quick actions, rename a file, speak the body of an article, turn text into audio, kinds of things. I got options specifically for the menu bar, and then I've got the starter shortcut. So these are all the shortcuts you start with. And so I can do things like I can activate these so that I double clicking on these or clicking the play button here. So this, if okay, there was saying, so they would play whatever my last voice memo was. And most of these are actually, what I use voice memos for mostly is when I get a musical idea in my head and I'm not anywhere where I can sit at a keyboard and plug it out, I will simply sing it into the voice memo, and then later on I will use that voice memo and tinker out to get that last. Here again, I can view the last image. If I double click on these things, so just click and play, and that will launch that. So that will show you the last image that I played with in any option there. If I want to see how this is built, I can just double click on it. And so this will show all the options that make up this shortcut. And you can create your own shortcuts. We'll show you that in a minute. Now, if you want to get more shortcuts, here in the sidebar of the Shortcuts app, you also have the gallery. So the gallery takes you online to Apple's website for shortcuts. And you now have all these options for shortcuts. So I've got a shortcut here. I can add this to my shortcut list. Oops, let me cancel that for a second. I'm going to say add shortcut. And you can say, hey, plug in a date. Let's see, 8/31/2022. Add the shortcut. We'll just replace that. So now if I go back to all shortcuts, I have how many days thing here. So I run that. It tells me how many days until that event that I plugged in there. If I want to change that date, then I can come in here and just change this date. Well, let's say 12/25/2022. And now if I run that, it'll tell me 4 months, 9 days, 3 hours, 20 minutes. Oh, I need to change the date. Text. Actually, I should change this to 24 and then say shopping days until Christmas. So you can, to a certain degree, you can customize existing shortcuts. And I can play that and it'll say, hey, so you've got all these different shortcuts. Now you can do some things, like I've got a shortcut menu up here. And this says I've got some existing items here. So I want to say, speak the text that's in the clipboard. Let me put some text on the clipboard. Let me go ahead and go to notes. And grab all this text and copy it. That'll put it on the clipboard. So now I can go to the shortcuts menu here and I can say, speak the clipboard text. And that will, you're not going to be able to hear it, but as I muted my speakers. Let me unmute them. So all these shortcuts are simply designed to automate various tasks to make it more efficient for you to do certain things. As I said, if you're not interested in building shortcuts, you can go to the gallery and you can look for different shortcuts that might do what you want. You can search the gallery for something specific. Your home and away settings, reflect on the day, start your next meeting, reminders for things, some featured options, washing hands music, washing hands timer. Those are examples of things that came out in COVID. Message this song, add to queue. So, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things going on here that can help you become a more efficient user of your Mac. Now, let's say that you actually want to create your own shortcuts. Well, in the My Shortcuts section here, I can click on the plus button, and this brings up the shortcut editor. Now, on the right here, it shows me different actions, so I can show all the actions. And so I could say, drag this over, and I could say, hey, convert this from time zone. So I could say from, let's just say, where's San Diego? So let's say San Diego, which is Pacific time zone, to Istanbul. There we go. And if I run that, now let's say let's convert. Well, let's see. Let's put in today's date. Let's see. 18/2022. And we can test that by running it. And so this will give you the result of that. And again, I can give this a different name. I can say San Diego to and I can now look at that. And so now that should be somewhere in here. Here we go, San Diego to Istanbul. So I can click on that, and then I can run that at any point in time, and it should display the results. There's a lot of things that you can do. I got variables, so you can create very complex. So this is like visual programming, basically. So you've got favorites, you've got scripting options, so you can include Apple scripts or potentially automated workflows. You've got document options, items for the web, filter articles, get details of an article, get an article using Safari Reader, and so on. There's a lot of things that you can do with shortcuts. So there's definitely, and I would check out, if you really want to get into it, I would check out YouTube and get some more information about working with shortcuts. And the other cool thing about shortcuts is they are potentially cross-device compatible, meaning that you can create a shortcut on your Mac, and depending on the shortcut that it is and the things that it uses, that shortcut would potentially be usable on your phone or tablet as well. Now, another couple of things that we have are things like AirPlay to the Mac. So typically, if I wanted to watch, say, my tablet, anything on my tablet, it gets blanked out. There we go. On my computer screen, I would have had to download a third-party solution for that. And there's a number of them. I think of the name of it. Hold on. Go to my downloads folder. And it is, Reflector is one. So Reflector is a tool that turns your Mac into an AirPlay receiver, basically. So in Monterey, Apple built that feature directly into their OS. So I'm going to take my iPad here, wake it up, and I'm going to go ahead and project its screen onto my computer. So I can do that by going to the mirroring option on my iPad for screen mirroring, and my computer should show up. And so here now is my iPad, and I'm viewing a website. And so I can see what's going on with my iPad. I could play a game. I could view videos. Let me see if I've got a video player on here. Video players and VLC. I don't know if I've got anything in here. Oh, I got some tutorial videos. So now this video is playing on my Mac screen from my iPad. And so prior to this, this is something that you would not be able to do. Now, one downside to this is you'll notice that it's sucking up my entire screen. I can't do anything else on the Mac while I'm doing this necessarily. So let me get out of this. So AirPlay is one thing that you can do. And so another thing that's related to that is something called universal control. So the universal control, I can actually control up to two other devices with the same keyboard and mouse. Now, this is something you're going to want to enable. So I go to System Preferences, and I go to the Display Preferences. Where are your Display Preferences? Displays. Hide these controls. All right. So down here at the bottom, you've got this universal control option. And so you can say, allow your pointer and keyboard to move between any nearby Mac or iPad, push the edge of the display to connect to a nearby Mac or iPad, and allow the pointer to connect and automatically connect to any nearby iPad. You can choose any of these options. And then once you've done that, then let me make sure that this is set up on this computer. Hold on. I'll screen share over to see that you can see what's going on with this. And let's see, displays. Okay. All right. So yes, should be okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get over to that computer. Nope. I went to my iPad. So let me sync the screen with my iPad again. So here is the mouse on my iPad. I'm using my trackpad. I've got a trackpad here, and I'm using that trackpad I normally use on my computer. And so now I can actually control my iPad from here. And that will work with the keyboard as well. But basically, you just move to the edge of the screen on either side, left or right, and the mouse will then kick over to the other device that you are working with. I don't know why it doesn't go to this computer here. Let's see, advanced. I've got it turned on. This mouse here is now the mouse that you're seeing on my screen. This is the mouse from my other computer. controlling this. I go back and forth. Okay, so now I should be able to go the other way. There we go. So let me turn on screen sharing for that computer. All right. So now I'm going to go over to that computer. So now the mouse you're seeing on that computer is one, I'm controlling it right from here using my trackpad. So that's universal control. I just would go right to the edge, and now I have complete control of that computer while I am working on a different computer. So I can have up to 3 different devices I can control with one keyboard or mouse. It's sort of like KVM without the M, basically. Let me quit screen sharing here. So I have the ability now to mirror my phone or my tablet or even a different Mac. Let me see if this will work from here as well. So this is my, okay, so the same thing. This is my Mac. So this is my 2017 MacBook Pro that I am now mirroring on my Mac mini display. And so so anything I can do on one Mac, I can do on the other. And then once I'm done, I can change that, turn that off, and I'm back to normal. So your Mac is now an AirPlay receiver. You can see the screen or project the screen of any Mac, any phone, any tablet from that device to any Mac that supports Monterey. So a lot of really cool options with regards to that. Another feature related to this is, and to the screen sharing, is something called FaceTime SharePlay. And essentially, and I can't really demonstrate this, but essentially if you launch FaceTime, and now if you were to, say, communicate with somebody else via FaceTime, welcome back. So if I'm in FaceTime here and I connect to somebody via FaceTime, then again, I can click on my little mini screen representation and I can choose to share my device's screen via FaceTime. And what's cool about that is it works via the internet. I mean, you can share on a non-local. The other sharing, you've got to be local. You've got to be within range of the other devices. So with FaceTime SharePlay, you can share your screen, which means you could share images and things like that. But it goes a step further. You can set up a FaceTime session with multiple people, and then you can watch a movie together. You can listen to music together. So SharePlay via the FaceTime functionality just goes a step further than the AirPlay from your devices to your Mac. And it gives you the ability, oops, cancel that. It gives you the ability to share your device's screen with other people, no matter how remote, over the internet. And you can have a shared experience, like everybody watching a film together and making comments or sharing music together. So you have like a virtual dance party in a sense. So, I mean, lots of different things that are available through these new features of the Mac operating system. Now, go back to Safari real quick. There's a new feature called Shared with You. If someone sends you images or links to websites through the text, something like that, the Mac will detect that. And anything then that's shared with you in that way, if you go to Safari, let's say, so someone sent you some websites that they thought you might be interested in. Maybe you're doing a research on cephalopods, and so they've got some additional cephalopod websites or information that you want to get access to. They can text those to you, and then the Mac through the Messages app will detect that and then display those links here in Safari directly under Shared for You. It is the same for the Pictures app. If someone sends you photos, you can open up the Photos app. You can open up the Photos app, and again, there would be a Shared with You section here. Somewhere. Anyway, it would maybe because I haven't texted images, but anyway, they would show up here, and so you'd see just the images that people had sent to you. And so there's a lot of different options related to that, which can be very helpful. But it makes it easier. So same thing for music. If you launch the music app or podcast, if you launch a podcast app, there's a Shared for You section here that you can see podcasts. Same thing for the music and the TV app. Where's the music app? Oh, here's the TV. So again, if someone sent you information about that, they'd be here. And the same thing for music. If someone sent you links to music, again, there'd be a Shared with You section in the sidebar here that would display all of that information. So it makes it easier to access things that people have shared with you through the text app, the Messages app. And they've made some advancements to the Messages app too. Again, with Messages, you've got options for accessing photos. You want to share with people, you've got a quick access to that. You've got images from online. So if you want to share a meme with somebody, these are all online memes that are very popular. And then you got different message effects, and emoji stickers is something that's new. So you can create emoji stickers. You can create a emoji of yourself and then add that sticker to a note that you want to send somebody. And they've added a lot of enhancements to the emojis too. They've got new features for more emotional responses, different clothing and other attributes. So you can create a much more stylized memoji that you can use for various aspects of your texting and chatting and so forth. Now, let me go back to Safari. So we just covered a few of the features. If you go to the Mac operating, go to macOS, and then click on the Mac option here, and then click on the Monterey entry, and then they've got an overview, which goes through and gives you a nice animated elements about some of the new features. And this is the whole thing: new experiences, true connection. So FaceTime with SharePlay allows you to watch TV shows, movies, as I said, with other people that you are communicating with. So you've got watch together. You can stream movies, TV shows, and music, listen together. Said share screen with the SharePlay. They've got new option with the spatial audio. So as you move around, if you've got a headset on, then as people move around, then you can hear that sort of directional. So they got, depending on your device, they've got options for better sound isolation, so you hear less background noise while you're communicating, and so on. They got portrait mode, and they do a new FaceTime link. So now you can invite anyone, not just people who are other Mac users, but with the FaceTime link option, you can invite Android, Windows users to participate in FaceTime as well. Again, share with you. So the links, images, and the content you shared, messages, as I told you, are there. You got the photo collections that we looked at. So this, and Safari has a lot of options. They've improved the options for websites that track you, to keep you from being tracked. And if you go up here to this little shield icon, if I click on that, Apple's not tracking you. But if I go to a different website, let's say Google, for example, and click on that. And you can see, no, they're not tracking. There's only one tracker there. We go to this website. So there are 62 trackers that would potentially track you on this website, and you can actually see all of those trackers. And there's another cool feature where I need to add another website. Hold on. This is not specifically new to Monterey, but this is a feature that can be very helpful depending on where you are. And I don't think they've got support for as many languages as they'd like, but they keep updating that. But this is a Spanish language website, and I currently do not speak any language other than English. So while I do understand some words in some foreign languages, I took some French in college, and I did some studying of Spanish since I live in Southern California. But if I want to convert this over here, if translation is available, you'll see a little translation icon over here to the right. I can click on that, and I can say translate to my preferred language. I'm going to enable this. I'm just going to tell you this information we sent to Apple. And so now you can see the website is now available in English. All of the text components have been converted. Now, if there are ads that are graphics, like, let's see if we can find something. It looks like even some of the ads are being redirected. But previously, oh, here we go. So here is an ad, and it is still in Spanish because that's typically a graphic, and we're not able to translate graphics. And again, if I want, I can put it back to the original language. I can view all the preferred languages, and so I can add whatever language that I want from the available languages. So there are some limited options here. Turkish is one. So I can add that and allow that to be converted or to be translated on the fly. So again, if you are working with a foreign language website and you'd like to be able to read it in your own language, bear in mind there are potentially going to be some issues with the translation, depending on the languages being translated, but it gives you a much better way of viewing websites that are in a foreign language that you'd like to view more easily in your own language. But going back here, so the other option, so the overview displays a lot of different options. Focus is another big feature of the Mac operating system now. This is something else that came over, started out on the mobile OSs first, iOS and iPad OS. Focus is a way to limit your distractions. So if you want to focus on a task, like you're writing something or you're editing something, and you don't want to be disturbed by people who are going to message you or call you, you can configure different focus states, and those focus sessions can restrict certain things from getting through. Now, you might have, say, emergency contact information that will always get through no matter what, but more casual things, if someone calls you or someone sends you a message, you will simply not get it until you leave that focus environment. And so you can configure a variety of different options for who is not disturbing you across that. And you can set that across all of your devices. So you can set focus not just on one device, but on all your devices so that someone can't just bypass your focus on the Mac by getting in through your PC. As I said, if you want to see absolutely everything that's going on new in the macOS, click on the all new features. And then this will list every specific thing that Apple has changed in Monterey or added into Monterey. So another feature in Safari is tab groups. You can have a group of websites that you visit, and if they are websites you visit a lot. For example, I've got all of these. I could potentially create a tab group from them. And again, you can sync these tab groups across all of your devices. So I can say create a new tab group with these 11 tabs. So here, we'll call this webinar. So here again, I've got this webinar tab group. So if I were to say close this page and start a new page, I could click on the tab group and it will load all of those tabs. So if there are 4 or 5 different news groups that you go to, so let's just create a new tab here. We'll go to say CNN. Let's just create a new window. Let's do this. We'll start this with a new window here. And so new window, we'll go to CNN and T and then MSNBC. And let's see, new tab, say Reuters. And let's see. So let's say we go to these 3 news sites on a regular basis. So now I can go to file, I can say new tab group, and I can just say favorite news sites. So again, if I close this and bring up a new window and click on the favorite news sites, it'll load those 3 tabs and those 3 sites immediately. So this is a way to organize sites you visit on a regular basis. If you're doing research, so on cephalopods, then you could put up several cephalopod websites and mark them as a group and so on. So lots of options for organizing websites that you access on a regular basis. Same thing if you had financial websites that you visited or so on. So lots of different options with regards to that. I'm going to go back to webinar, go back to the Apple tab. So again, if you want to see absolutely everything that's going on, there's the quick note stuff, new features in the notes with the tags and the tag browser. You can have smart folders. So you can actually have notes organize your notes for you based on tags. So you can create a folder based on a certain tag. And when you click on that folder, it displays all of the notes for that particular tag. And a quick note, universal control, AirPlay to Mac, live text, shortcuts, maps. So this goes through and dives into more of the features, many of which we've discussed, but in greater detail. So definitely, if there is something there that you want to learn more about, this would be the place to go. Now, I need to put this back out because you kicked out and kicked back in. So let me go ahead and put this back in here. So that pretty much is everything all the material that we're covering today. Now, in the chat, I put in the evaluation information for doing the evaluation about what you think about this webinar. That helps us provide better content in the future by identifying what you felt about the webinar and what you thought we could do better. In addition, before we go, we do have a couple of more slides, some more commercial stuff. So once again, thank you for coming and attending our webinar. By attending an FMC event, you are now an alumni of the FMC training program. FMC offers a variety of different classes for Adobe products, for Apple products, and so on. In fact, we have several 1- and 3-day classes that provide a lot more information and detail about the Mac operating system. So if you want to definitely be better able to troubleshoot problems with your Macs and things like that, you can consider one of those courses. You can definitely view more about the FMC offerings online at fmctraining.com/browse-courses. You can also find out more about FMC by going to our various social media locations. We have a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and of course, you can follow us on Twitter. Now, FMC also works with other technology partners for a number of different reasons, but also to provide you with more resources. And so we have a couple of those we're talking about today. One of our technology partners is Dell. So we have, and you can find out more about the FMC Dell partnership by going to dell.com/FMC training. In addition, we also have a video on Vimeo. So if you go to vimeo.com/ and then 418-046 352. There'll be a video discussing more about that as well, but there are definitely some promotional options for getting discounts on Dell hardware. I owned a couple of Dell monitors. They're actually really decent monitors, and they work for a number of different hardware devices, at least for me. And then we also have a partnership with a company called Ceramonic. So if you are doing any kind of online broadcasting, whether you're doing live streams or recorded events or webinars or FaceTime events and so on, Ceramonic provides clamps for cameras or for your phone to be used as a camera. They provide headsets, microphones, stands, backgrounds. They provide a variety of equipment to support you in your online streaming needs. And so to find out more about Ceramonic, go to ceramonicusa.com. And again, they're offering a discount on some of their products, 20% for a home-based professional kit if you use the code VIP Support 20. So again, I want to thank you very much for attending today. Please fill out the evaluation if you wouldn't mind. This entire presentation has been recorded. So if you'd like to watch it again, in about a week, you should receive an email that will give you to an online link, which will allow you to view this presentation. Now, before we go, we covered a lot of information, but I may not have covered something that you were interested in finding more about. So if there was any feature or function about the about Monterey specifically that you were hoping to learn more about, but we didn't cover in this session, I'm more than happy to answer any questions about Monterey at this time, or just demonstrate any feature that you had an interest in. Just let me know if there's something you want to see or learn more about, and I'm happy to assist you. Otherwise, if there's nothing else you need to know or want to know at this time, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully we might see you in another training somewhere down the road. So my friend, have a good one.